Big thanks to LitRPG Reads and the man behind it, Paul Bellow.
Yeah, Paul's a great guy.
His article on AI-powered world building really got me thinking about all the new possibilities for tabletop RPGs.
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny, actually, because I was just in a session the other day, and the world felt so real and vibrant, like I reach out and touch it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, every tavern had its own personality, and every town had this intricate history.
Sounds amazing.
It really got me thinking about all the work that dungeon masters put into creating these worlds.
Yeah, it's a ton of work, no doubt about it.
That's exactly what Paul's article dives into, using AI tools like ChatGPT to streamline that whole process.
Yeah, making it faster and easier and honestly more fun.
So he's talking about using AI tools that most of us are already familiar with, right? Like ChatGPT, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's using them in a really specific way for tabletop RPGs like D&D.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that he breaks down this whole process into a really manageable workflow.
Okay, so he's making it accessible even for people who might be new to AI.
Yeah, exactly. He actually suggests that you can create a solid foundation for a game world in just 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Seriously? That's less time than it takes to watch an episode of my favorite show.
Well, whole world might be pushing it, but you can definitely lay down the core elements. You know, like the theme, the tone, the scope, all the big picture stuff.
So that's like step one in his workflow.
Exactly.
So let's dig into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Why are those core elements so important? Like, we all know what theme is, right?
Yeah.
It's the genre, like fantasy or sci-fi.
Right.
And tone kind of sets the mood, like grim and dark or lighthearted and fun.
Yeah, those are the basics.
But what about scope? Why is defining the scope of your world so important?
Well, scope is all about setting boundaries for your world.
Okay, so it's about deciding how big or small you want your world to be.
Exactly. Are we talking about a single city, a continent, an entire planet, or even multiple dimensions?
Wow. So it really sets the stage for everything else that you're going to create.
Yeah, it might seem boring at first, but defining this early on helps you stay focused and prevents your world from becoming too overwhelming.
Right. I can see how that would be important both for you as a DM and for the players.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to get bogged down in too many details too early on.
Right. You don't want to try to create the entire Lord of the Rings universe on day one.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So Paul provides some examples in his article, right?
Yeah.
Just to get those creative juices flowing.
Yeah, he's got this great table in the article with all sorts of different world concepts.
Like, what kind of concepts are we talking about here?
Well, he's got like dark fantasy where cities are powered by sentient magical storms.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
He's got steampunk with all the clockwork contraptions and political intrigue.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
He even throws in a post-apocalyptic world where nature is overgrown with arcane energy.
Wow. Those are some pretty diverse concepts.
Yeah, it's a real smorgasbord of ideas.
So you could really find something to spark your imagination no matter what kind of game you're trying to create.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I gotta say, those sentient magical storms are really catching my attention. That's a pretty wild concept.
Right.
What kind of conflicts could that lead to in a game?
Well, imagine different factions vying for control of these storms.
Okay.
You could have storm mages who can manipulate the weather, or guilds of engineers who've built elaborate devices to harness the energy.
Oh, that's cool.
And what happens when a storm starts to die out, or worse, goes rogue?
That's a good question. Things could get pretty chaotic.
Instant conflict.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that my players would really get into.
Right. It's not just a cool visual, it's a source of conflict and tension, maybe even moral dilemmas.
And that's what makes a game world feel real.
Exactly.
When there are these underlying forces that are shaping the lives of the characters.
And that's where those AI tools can come in handy.
Oh, okay. How so?
Well, you can take an idea like those sentient magical storms and feed it into an AI like ChatGPT.
Okay.
Start asking questions like, what are the rituals for appeasing a storm? What happens if someone tries to steal a storm's power? Oh, that's interesting. So the AI becomes like a brainstorming partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It helps you flesh out those initial ideas and explore all the different possibilities.
So I could start with a basic concept and then use AI to help me develop it into something truly unique and original.
Right. You're not just relying on your own brain power. You've got this digital assistant helping you generate all sorts of details and backstories and even potential plot hooks.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I'm already feeling inspired to create some crazy landscapes.
That's awesome.
And that kind of brings us to step 2, right? Regions and locations.
Yes.
So this is where we start to zoom in and flesh out the specific areas within our world.
Exactly. And what's exciting is that AI can help us break out of those old world-building habits.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean. Like, I tend to default to forests and mountains when I'm brainstorming.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like our brains get stuck in a rut.
So how can AI help shake things up a bit?
Well, Paul's got another table in his article this time for region names.
Okay, so instead of coming up with the names ourselves, we can let the AI do the work for us. Well, it's more like letting the AI give us some inspiration.
Yeah.
And some of these names are so evocative, they practically write the description for you.
Oh, really? Give me some examples.
Okay, we're talking Ashen Wastes, Whispering Glades, Frostfire Peaks.
Ooh, those sound pretty cool.
Right. Just hearing those names, you can already picture these places in your mind.
Yeah, totally. Like Whispering Glades is giving me some serious fairy tale vibes, but in a kind of creepy, unsettling way.
Right. It's like, what secrets are those trees whispering about?
Exactly. And that's where the AI can really come in handy.
Right.
You can feed that phrase Whispering Glades into ChatGPT and ask what whispers through the glades. Why are they feared by the locals?
And suddenly you've got a whole backstory for that region.
Full of mystery and danger.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
It's like AI is giving you these little seeds of inspiration, and you can plant them in your world and watch them grow into something amazing.
That's a great analogy.
But it's not just about names, right?
Right. What about all the other details that make those regions feel real?
That's where AI really shines.
Okay, how so?
It can help you generate descriptions of the terrain, the flora and fauna, unique landmarks, even potential encounters.
So I could ask it to describe the creatures that live in the Whispering Glades.
Exactly. Or the ruins of an ancient city that's hidden deep within the forest.
And it would just spit out all these amazing details.
Well, it would give you a starting point, and then you can use your own creativity to flesh it out even further.
That's awesome. I'm really starting to see the potential here.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It's like having a whole team of world builders at your fingertips.
Exactly. And the best part is that it's all powered by AI, so it's constantly learning and evolving.
So the possibilities are really endless.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole topic so exciting.
It's like we're on the verge of a whole new era of tabletop RPGs.
Yeah. AI is going to change the game in so many ways.
I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Me neither. You know what really brings a world to life?
What's that?
Towns and cities.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're not just dots on a map.
Right.
They're where your players are going to spend most of their time.
Exactly. Interacting with NPCs, getting caught up in local politics, maybe even causing a little chaos.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
all about creating those memorable moments.
For sure. I still remember this one city from a campaign I played in years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It was built into the side of a cliff with all these intricate rope bridges and windmills.
Wow, that's cool.
And this constant bustling energy.
Sounds amazing.
I just wanted to get lost in its streets and alleys.
I bet.
It felt so real.
That's what we're aiming for, right? That sense of immersion.
Totally. And well-designed towns and cities, they're more than just cool backdrops.
Right.
They can really drive the story forward.
Thanks.
Introduce new characters, seed conflict.
Offer up all those juicy side quests that players love.
Speaking of cool cities, Paul's article has a whole table dedicated to town and city ideas, right?
Oh, yeah, he's got some pretty out there concepts.
Like what?
Well, we've got Silverwind Port with its floating market on anchored ships.
Okay, that's pretty cool. There's Whisper Watch, where the murals on buildings change daily to tell prophecies. Whoa, that's trippy. And then there's Emberkeep Fortress, carved into the heart of an active volcano.
Okay, that last one is giving me some serious Dwarf Fortress vibes.
Right.
Imagine the potential for dungeon crawls in those volcanic tunnels.
Oh, yeah. The possibilities are endless.
And each city comes with these little details that just spark your imagination.
Right, like details about the government, key NPCs, unique features.
Even potential faction conflicts.
Exactly. Like in Silverwind Port, there's this tension between pirates and merchant guilds.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So your players could walk right into the middle of that conflict.
Maybe have to choose sides.
Exactly. Or maybe even play those factions against each other for their own benefit.
Now you're talking. That's the kind of stuff that gets my players hooked.
Right. It's all about giving them choices and consequences.
Totally. And that's the beauty of AI.
How so?
It can provide those initial sparks, those foundational elements, and then you as the DM can run with them.
Add our own twists and turns.
Exactly. It's a collaboration between you and the AI.
I like that. Okay, I'm sold on AI-generated cities.
Awesome.
But let's talk about the people who populate these places.
Okay.
The NPCs?
Ah, yes. NPCs and factions?
That's step 4, right?
You got it.
This is where things get really interesting because we're not just talking about generic shopkeepers or quest givers here.
Right. We're talking about memorable characters with depth personalities, backstories, secrets, even conflicting motivations.
I gotta admit, creating compelling NPCs is something I really struggle with.
Yeah, it can be tough.
How do you make them feel like real people?
Well, Paul suggests using AI to generate those backstories and personalities.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine plugging in a basic prompt like a gruff dwarven blacksmith with a secret past,
Okay.
and the AI spits out a whole history for them, complete with loves, lost betrayals, hidden talents, maybe even a touch of madness.
That's wild. So I could end up with this dwarf who seems like your typical grumpy blacksmith, but actually has this epic backstory involving a lost kingdom or a forbidden romance.
Exactly. Your players would eat that up.
They totally would.
Yeah.
And the AI can even suggest quirks and flaws.
To make those NPCs feel more human,
Like what?
maybe the blacksmith is terrified of spiders.
Okay.
Or has a secret addiction to gambling.
Little details that make them come alive.
Exactly. Because nobody's perfect, right?
Right? Even our NPCs.
Especially our NPCs.
This is making me rethink how I approach character creation.
That's awesome. I love it.
But it's not just about individual NPCs, right?
Right.
What about those larger groups and organizations?
The factions.
Yeah, the factions that shape the world's politics and conflicts.
Factions are essential for creating a dynamic world.
How so?
They add layers of intrigue,
Okay.
create alliances and rivalries,
Got it.
and offer opportunities for your players to get involved in something bigger than themselves.
So if I'm picturing a faction of rebel mages fighting against the tyrannical empire,
Okay.
could AI help me flesh out their goals, their leaders, their tactics?
Absolutely. You could prompt the AI with something like, describe a secret society of mages dedicated to overthrowing a corrupt ruler.
And boom.
Yeah.
It just generates all these details for me.
It could generate details about their hierarchy, their magical abilities, their hideouts, their symbols and codes, even their internal conflicts and rivalries.
Okay, this is blowing my mind.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
I can see how AI can be such a valuable tool for fleshing out those factions and giving them real depth.
It's all about making your world feel alive and believable.
But let's not forget about the heart of any good RPG campaign,
What's that?
the adventures themselves.
Ah, yes. Step 5, crafting plot hooks and quests.
Because what good is an amazing world if there aren't any stories to tell within it?
That's the truth. Exactly. And fear not, my friend. AI is here to help us spin those narrative threads.
Okay, I'm intrigued. I have to confess, sometimes my quests end up feeling a little predictable.
Oh, yeah. How so?
It's the classic, go kill this monster or fetch this item routine.
Ah, the old standard.
How can AI help me break out of that mold and offer my players something a little more unique?
It's easy to fall into those familiar patterns, but AI can definitely help you spice things up.
I'm all ears.
Paul's article includes a table with all sorts of different quest types.
Oh, really? Like what?
We're talking rescue missions, investigations, diplomatic negotiations, treasure hunts, even infiltrating a secret society or lifting a curse.
Okay, those sound way more interesting than just slaying goblins.
Right.
But how do I actually use these ideas? Like, where do I even begin?
Think of them as starting points.
Okay.
Let's take that lifting a curse idea, for example.
Right.
Maybe your players stumble upon a village where everyone has been turned into frogs.
Okay, that's definitely a problem that needs solving.
Right. And that's where AI comes in.
How so?
You could ask the AI to generate details about the curse.
Like, what kind of details?
Like what caused it? Who's behind it? What are the steps to break it?
So the AI can help me flesh out the backstory of the curse.
Exactly. And suddenly you've got a whole mystery for your players to unravel.
Complete with clues, red herrings, unexpected twists.
A whole 9 yards.
So instead of just find the magic potion,
Uh-huh.
the quest becomes this multi-layered puzzle
Right.
that forces my players to think creatively.
Maybe even make some tough choices along the way.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what makes a game truly engaging.
Exactly. And it all starts with a simple prompt to the AI.
I'm amazed by all this. I'm guessing there's even more to AI-powered world building, though, right?
Oh, yeah. There's a whole other layer that we haven't even touched on yet.
Like what?
Those little details that really bring a world to life.
Oh, okay. Like what kind of details are we talking about?
Names, lore, magic systems, all that good stuff.
You know, I've spent way too much time agonizing over names for characters and places.
I hear that. It's a common struggle.
It feels like such a small thing,
Mhm.
but it really sets the tone.
Names are powerful.
Yeah, you're right. They evoked imagery, hint at history, create a sense of wonder.
Exactly. And Paul suggests using AI to generate those evocative names.
Okay, I like where this is going.
You can feed it prompts like a cursed forest or a mystical artifact and see what it comes up with.
That's a great idea. So instead of just the forest of shadows, I could end up with something like the whispering boughs.
Or the grove of eternal twilight.
Ooh, I like that. So much more evocative.
Right. And the same goes for magical items, spells, even the names of deities.
So let the AI be my brainstorming partner.
Exactly. And see what amazing ideas you can come up with together.
Okay, I'm convinced AI seems like an incredible tool for streamlining, world building, sparking creativity, and ultimately freeing up more time for the DM to focus on storytelling.
That's the key takeaway here. AI is not meant to replace the dungeon master's imagination. It's a tool to enhance and accelerate the process to help us build richer, more immersive worlds for our players to explore.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Paul Bellow's suggested 30-minute workflow really highlights that efficiency.
Yeah, it's a great framework.
He breaks it down into 6 steps with a specific time allocation for each.
Starting with the core concept, then moving on to regions, cities, NPCs, quests, and finally all those flavorful details.
It's a fantastic way to break out of creative ruts and explore new possibilities.
Even for experienced DMs.
It really does make you wonder, what role will AI play in the future of tabletop RPGs?
That's a great question.
Will we see AI dungeon masters running entire campaigns?
Or AI-powered players joining our tables.
The possibilities are mind-boggling.
As AI continues to evolve, who knows what the future holds?
But I think it's safe to say that AI is going to play an increasingly important role in shaping the way we play and experience these amazing games.
I completely agree. And that brings us back to Paul Bellow, the man behind LitRPG Reads and the creator of LitRPG Adventures.
Those specialized RPG generators powered by AI.
His work is truly paving the way for a new era of tabletop gaming.
And it's sparking some important conversations about the intersection of technology and creativity.
Absolutely. So we want to hear from you, our listeners.
What are your thoughts on AI's role in tabletop RPGs? Is it a valuable tool, a potential threat, or something else entirely? Head over to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI-powered world building. Until next time, keep those dice rolling and those imaginations soaring.